guests and speakers and virtual audiences. I am Jaehoon Rhee, in charge of Session 2, Cooperation between Science Parks. It is my great honor to moderate this session titled Cooperation between Science Parks of the top agenda or slogan, More Connection, Better Tomorrow. In this session, our main interest is in promoting cooperation and collaboration between science parks by sharing the successful stories and cases and precious experiences from 4 special speakers and learning a valuable lesson for the regional development. In this session, we have 4 distinguished speakers. Suwipa Wanasathop from Thailand, Beng Sam Khan from Korea, Kiichi Kubota from Japan, and Yuhyun Kim from also Korea. The order of presentation is the same as I named the speakers in the previous order. Let me briefly explain the way how I will proceed with this session. Firstly, I will introduce each speaker just before her or his presentation according to the order. Then each will make or deliver her his presentation, and I will briefly summarize it. The same way will be applied to the other speakers. We have 4 speakers and 65 minutes. Also, we are 10 minutes late to start for this session. So my major assignment is to keep the time within limits. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, this session is composed of hybrid type, that is on-site presentation and pre-videotape ones. As well, there will be no, as usual, floor discussion session. That's no Q&A in the last part of this session. Instead, we will have any question from you. Please send your inquiry to me or the organizer via email. Then we'll get back to you later. Now, it's time to have 4 speakers present their precious experiences or ideas. Our first speaker is Suwipa Wanasathop. She's now director at the Thailand Science Park and also honorably currently Vice President of the Thailand National Science Technology Development Agency, where she's responsible for driving Thailand Science Park to be innovation platform for the country and a home for SDI-based companies. She aims to provide easy and efficient access for startups and SMEs to utilize the knowledge, research, and technology to grow their businesses and competitively and sustainably. She develops alliances among research institutions, UNIs, and private sector, both domestically and internationally. She served as Asia Pacific President of IASP and holds many international positions regarding incubation and helps software and high-tech companies in various ways. Okay, her topic is cooperation between science parks, gearing up regional economic recovery. Unfortunately, we can't go here now. Instead, let's watch her videotape and please welcome her with big applause even virtually. Okay, please turn on her videotape, please.
Distinguished guests, friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, สวัสดีค่ะ. First of all, I would like to thank ASPA for inviting me to join this exciting Science Park INNOFAIR 2021. It is the pleasure that we all can meet and talk again after a difficult period of global pandemic. I am honored to present and share with you the hope that we can gear up our economic recovery through the friendship and more extensive cooperation between our science and technology parks. After the darkness, there will always be light. We believe that we can manage the pandemic as we have been able to manage all the crises before. We are not entering into only the new normal, but into a new world where technology and innovation enable us to do things that we can never imagine it is possible to transform within a short period of time. It is the new world where businesses cannot be conducted as usual. Social and economic crash have led to layoff and salary cut. More talents with various skills and experiences are becoming available, as well as new self-employed entrepreneurs are growing. In addition, with rapid digital transformation, the way people live, learn, work, and play changes the consumer needs and preferences. In this new world, all businesses and leaders need to adapt to this change and redesign their own model of growth, or else they can easily be disrupted. The GDP growth of countries in Asia forecasted earlier by the IMF is as shown here on the left, but the reality has been worse and still not recovered due to the second and third waves of infections. Our clients in many sectors have been suffered to a certain extent. The resilience of science and technology parks has also been challenged. So please allow me to share my thoughts on the three important strategies our science and technology park in Asia Pacific region can join hands to help revitalize our economies and alleviate the post-pandemic effects. The key is that our collaboration should aim to foster and strengthen the innovation-driven enterprises and startups who we considered as our economic warriors. Successful innovation-driven and deep tech SME and startup are the future of our economies and definitely our promising engine of growth. I recommend the three strategies: co-creation, cooperation, and co-brand that can lead to successful regional cooperation with an aim to stimulate IP creation and business growth. Our active collaboration allows us to utilize each other's strength to co-create new innovation to solve post-pandemic challenges. Then cross-border collaboration coupling with co-brand efforts can stimulate market penetration and expansion. Let me elaborate more on this. First, as open innovation offers unbounded opportunities to co-create new solutions, science and technology park in our region can join force in helping our innovation-driven ventures to be able to pivot their business to stay resilient and competitive through embracing the spirit of open innovation. What do I mean by open innovation? According to Professor Henry Chesbrough at UC Berkeley explained that open innovation was the use of purposive inflows and outflows of knowledge to accelerate the internal innovation and technology commercializations. We at Science and Technology Park should utilize our closely knitted regional network to introduce and match the right partners for co-creation of new technologies that suit the market demand. To do with their own limited resources, expertise, and knowledge, definitely slow down their capacity to adjust. New emerging innovative technologies like AI, IoT, blockchain, 5G, together with new business models are our enabling tools. Second, regional cooperation to explore cross-border opportunities should be promoted so that Science and Technology Park can be the strong bridge to help entrepreneurs cross borders. The real needs and goal of countries in capacity building, education, and market differ from country to country. We, Science and Technology Park, can support entrepreneurs with growth mindsets to meet the right partners, to conduct need analysis and market validation, and to support their go-to-market efforts. As the pandemic speeds up the digital adoption and online engagement, we see accelerators in many science and technology parks around the world start to attract international entrepreneurs and startups to work in their centers and go cross-border to attract global talents, experts, and markets. Science and Technology Park can play a major role in designing technology and business collaborative program among our Science and Technology Park, such as Innovation Forum, Joint Labs, Co-incubation or Co-acceleration programs, multilateral trade visit, business matching portal, or even joint investment. These engagements can be our significant catalyst for growth as well as the tools for the creation of successful startup ventures. It is essential for leaders to stay abreast on the new strategic move to generate viable revenue models. Strategically, the need for good health and well-being and food security have offered universal opportunities for Thailand, for example. Food and agriculture and services in hospitality and healthcare have always been our bread and butter. However, relevant and innovative technology are needed to increase productivities and yields, as well as to add more value to the industries. Functional food and active pharmaceutical ingredients are being pursued and searched for partners. In addition, health and wellness sector is growing very fast since the pandemic forces the country to realize that self-sufficiency in healthcare solutions and medical supplies become necessity. Solidias projected that by 2025, total healthcare spending in 6 ASEAN countries, including Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines, could increase to 740 billion US dollar from 420 billion US dollar in 2017. Here we can build strong partnerships to maximize innovation and adoption of health and wellness technology to tap into the market opportunities in the region. Last but not least, co-brand is a powerful strategy for international market penetration. In my country, startups widely call it the X or collaborate strategy. We see more brand collaboration like Leica X with Huawei, Apple Watch collaborates with Acmes from France, and Marimekko from Finland collaborates with Uniqlo. It is a more profitable way to innovate because it can bring wider exposures, reduce costs and risks, accelerate time to market, and create new revenue streams for the companies. This co-brand concept can also be applied in our Science and Technology Park cooperation to support our entrepreneurs in securing and expanding cross-border markets. Thailand has declared BCG, which stands for Bio, Circular and Green Economy, as our national agenda. The Prime Minister states that BCG model will be promoted alongside with Thailand 4.0 for self-sufficiency and sustainable development of the nation. BCG is the vehicle to modernize its agriculture and services sector, as well as to establish national health security and to attract more investment into these fields. Thailand Science Park therefore welcomes the co-creation of different initiatives to support entrepreneurs in the region. To gain a foothold and expand your business in the 650 million population ASEAN market, Thailand Science Park can be your potential for partner for collaboration. In the park, over 120 technology and innovation-based companies are conducting their research, development, and innovation activities there. About 30% of these tenants are international companies. Over the years, we built our aspiration and credential in 3 specific industry sectors: food and agriculture, health and wellness, and digital. We also connect to our regional science park in the countries and also abroad. I would like to end here with a strong confidence that regional collaboration between our science and technology parks in strengthening our innovation-driven enterprises will help gear up the regional economic recovery. As digital technology enables us to connect and collaborate more, and as ASPA is a great network within our region and internationally, new models of international cooperation and online acceleration platform to help our entrepreneurs to connect should be explored and co-created. So let's start to collaborate now, and may the forces be with us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Suwipa. I think you made a very insightful presentations regarding cooperation between Science Park and also internationally. I think she emphasized the extensive cooperation between Science Park and also regions and nations. She presented very interesting 3 key messages: co-creation, cooperation, and co-brand to propel this kind of regional and institutional cooperation between borders. I think her major theme can be summarized as one word: borderless. I think this key message is very useful to facilitate cooperation between institutions, industries, regions, and also nations. Thank you for your insightful and nice presentation. Our second speaker is Mr. Beng Sam Khan. He is now president at Korea Innovation Foundation. Before being appointed as a current position, he used to serve as Secretary General of Korea Presidential Advisory Council of Science and Technology and held various government positions as high official. Due to his contribution to the development of Korea science and technology, he was awarded as Order of Service Merit by Korea President in 2019. He was educated for his BA at Seoul National University, earned his master's degree at University of Birmingham, and completed his PhD course at Korea University. His topic is collaboration between science parks for mutual growth, the case of Innopolis, Korea. Please take him to the podium with big applause. Okay, it's your turn.
Good afternoon. I'll take off mask. Thank you for having me today. I'm Beng Sam Khan, the president of Korea Innovation Foundation. Today, I'll introduce how Korea Innovation Foundation develops international partnership with the Science Park abroad, and how these international partnerships contribute to mutual growth by facilitating collaboration among innovation agents in different countries. Before introducing global cooperation activities of Korea Innovation Foundation, please allow me to take some time to overview the history of Innopolis. Innopolis originally began as a public research complex in the 1970s. In order to support industrial transformation from light industry to heavy chemical industries, the basic plan for Daegu research complex was confirmed in 1973. The primary goal was effective use of public research facilities through geographical concentration. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, universities and public research institutes were either transferred to or newly created in Daegu. And Daegu Research Complex was at the center of government-industry partnership for technology catch-up. Daegu Research Complex was gradually reformed to an innovation cluster in the early 2000s. Innopolis Special Act was enacted in 2005, embracing the activity of strengthening the link between public R&D investment and the growth of small companies. In addition to the original R&D complex, there are also business and industrial areas for technology commercialization in Daegu Innopolis. Since 2011, the innovation cluster model was Daegu Innopolis has been transferred to other regions. Now we have Daegu, Gwangju, Daegu, Busan, and Jeonbuk Innopolis. Each of 5 Innopolis is specialized in different industrial sectors, as these regions have different industrial traditions. Since 2019, a brand new innovation cluster model called InnoTown has been introduced, small-sized Innopolis. With minimal legal requirements, InnoTown is characterized with high R&D densities and high flexibilities. As of 2021, there are totally 12 InnoTown across the country. With the regional expansion of Innopolis model, Innopolis access has been remarkably increased. In accordance to the increased number of resident companies, the amount of revenue and employment generated by these companies have been significantly increased between 2005 and 2019. Likewise, the number of Kosdaq-listed companies, Korean Nasdaq, and research-based spin-off companies have been notable in past 15 years. So far, I have mainly focused on the historical trajectory of Innopolis. From now on, I'll elaborate more on what Korea Innovation Foundation is doing as a supportive agency. The Korea Innovation Foundation was created in 2005 to build a strong cooperation among institutes and ecosystem of public technology commercialization. Here you can see a virtuous circle where public R&D outcomes contribute to the increased competitiveness of small and mid-sized enterprises and economic values created from this industry-economic linkage are reinvented in R&D, reinvested. To support Innopolis ecosystem, the Korea Innovation Foundation manages both tangible and intangible assets of Innopolis. On the one hand, the foundation oversees the construction and management of key infrastructures. The Key Innovation Foundation, Korea Innovation Foundation, is also running many R&D support programs, such as matching supplies and demands of technology commercialization, supporting technology-based startups, organizing industrial networkings, and offering technology financing and consultation services for companies. Now I would like to move on to global cooperation of Korea Innovation Foundation. We have widespread networks with overseas science parks. And based on our networks, we are supporting other innovation agents like as entrepreneurs, researchers, and students to connect with their foreign counterparts. By doing so, global cooperation between science parks can be contribute to the mutual growth of regional economies in different countries. As an example of Korea Innovation Foundation's global cooperation, I would like to introduce a knowledge sharing program called Kstp Training, which has been organized since 2008. During this 2 weeks program, Science Park professionals from more than 20 different countries are invited to Daegu Innopolis. Throughout lectures and peer discussions, participants can better understand Korean experiences of science park development. As of today, we have hosted 20 workshops with 387 participants from 70 countries. This year, Kstp Training has been running online from August due to COVID-19. Given our desire to support countries in need of STP development, we have decided to run this program online for the first time. The outstanding participants of the program will be invited to Korea for real field training when COVID-19 ends. There are 3 major stages in developing cooperation project through Kstp Training. At the first stage, Kstp Training participants expand their basic knowledge of Korean-style science park. At stage 2, participants identify potential collaboration agenda by matching resources available at Innopolis, Korea, with demands of their home country and vice versa. At stage 3, actual collaboration projects are carried out in the aspect of Kstp consultation, business networking, and government-to-government collaboration. When it comes to Kstp consultation, the Korea Innovation Foundation provides customized consultation services on science park development. In Ecuador, Kuwait, and Kazakhstan in years 2012 and 2013. We expect to receive more requests for consultation by the end of 21st and 22nd Kstp training, which are currently held online. This time we are planning to focus on more practical and tangible issues for consultation, such as global technology commercialization or business incubation. The establishment of global business network is one important objective of Kstp training. A good example is business matching session organized during the 20th Kstp training in 2019. In advance to the training, we surveyed both Innopolis companies and prospective Kstp participants to maximize the chance of business collaboration. Based on the survey result, 13 Innopolis companies and 15 Kstp trainees from 12 countries has total 19 business meetings. In consequence, an actual business deal was concluded. For government-to-government collaboration after KSTP, we have two cases to share with you. The first case is Egypt. In 2016 and 2018, we had two KSTP participants from the Electronics Research Institute, ERI, in Egypt. In the following years of 2017 and 2018, we offered follow-up support for ERI's tech commercialization program by organizing regular online meetings with Korean experts in Daegu Innopolis. This persistent engagement finally led to Korean government's official development assistance project, ODA project, on the creation of Science and Technology Park in 2020. There is another example showing how Kstp Training can contribute to G2G collaboration. It is an online B2B matching seminar jointly organized with the Skolkovo Techno Park of Russia last year. In 2016, we had one Kstp participant from Skolkovo. Since then, Innopolis and Skolkovo persistently exchanged visits. Finally, in 2020, the two sides agreed on organizing online B2B meetings to celebrate 30 years of diplomatic ties between Korea and Russia. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, 5 Innopolis companies and 7 Skolkovo companies had 15 meetings. In coming years, Korea Innovation Foundation will further expand its cooperation networks with overseas science parks. There are several strategies to achieve such an objective. First, as a member of ASPA and ERSP, the Korea Innovation Foundation will actively engage with ASPA and ERSP members. We are willing to work on personal exchange, cross-incubation of startups, and open access to technology testbed. Second, we are going to support industrial sector-specific international networking. Since last year, we have been compiling a list of Innopolis companies particularly interested in global business collaboration. With such a database, we would like to organize global business networkings customized by technology or industry sectors. Third, as a public agency, the Korea Innovation Foundation will align its collaboration with overseas science parks to intergovernmental cooperation. This is the visual description of our prospective collaboration with ASPA members. On the very top, there are government ministries as a public agency. Korea Innovation Foundation will support intergovernmental joint committees on science and technology cooperation by figuring out practical collaboration agenda with ASPA members. And if you take a look at the private sector, there are multiple innovation agents, such as research institutes and companies. As a facilitator of an innovative ecosystem, Korea Innovation Foundation will closely work together with ASPA members to foster exchanges and collaborations among these innovation agents. That is the end of my presentation. I tried to provide an overview of our effort to link Innopolis ecosystem with overseas partners. If you are interested in developing joint projects with us, please contact our global cooperation team. If you have any question on the presentation, please feel free to ask in the following Q&A session. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kang, for your nice presentation, the introduction of Korea STP training program. If you are overseas participants, then why don't you apply for Korea Innovation Foundation STP training program? Thank you for your nice presentation. Again, please give him a big hand. Okay, thank you. Okay, our third speaker is Mr. Kiichi Kubota. He's the CEO of Kanagawa Science Park in Japan. Before he was appointed to CEO KSP this June, he worked for various private organizations. He started his career at Nissan Motor Corporation and changed his career to a totally different medical field, and was involved in various medical fields in next 20 years. His most noticeable achievement was to found Peptide Dream Incorporated, which will explain, had it listed on Tokyo Stock Exchange, and also found Peptide Star Incorporated to become world first CDMO for constrained peptides in 2017. After achieving great success as an entrepreneur, he's now in charge of KSP in order to support venture companies. Today, although his topic is a little bit less relevant to the others, he'll talk about the current situation and the future of KSP by applying his private experience as a venture company founder and executive. We also miss not having him here now, but although we only watch his video, please give him with big applause. Please turn on his videotape.
Nice to meet you. I'm Kiichi Kubota, who was appointed President and CEO of KSP Inc. in June of this year. As an entrepreneur, I have created and grown a venture company called Peptide Dream. This time, the person in charge of KSP Inc. I'm in a position to support venture companies. Today, I will talk about the current situation and future of KSP by utilizing my experience as a venture company founder and executive. First, I'd like to introduce Peptide Dream and then KSP. Established Peptide Dream Inc. at rental office nearby Tokyo Station in 2006. Relocated to incubation office managed by University of Tokyo in 2009. Relocated to Kawasaki Tonomachi King Skyfront to build our own building in 2017. Also, Peptide Dream was listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange Mothers in 2013. Listed on the first section of the Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2015. Established Peptide Star Inc. to expand Peptide Dream's businesses as an affiliated company. Peptide Dream is a biopharmaceutical company that employs its proprietary PDPS, Peptide Discovery Platform System technology, a revolutionary next-generation drug-finding platform. In the process of development of new drugs, PDPS technology would make it easier to identify hit candidates and to select lead candidates for the discovery and development of constrained peptides, small molecule, and peptide drug conjugate therapeutics. Using the PDPS technology, PEPStream works in close collaboration with its global and strategic joint partners or on its own internal target programs to identify hit candidates and, depending on the therapeutic area and intended route of administration, turn those hit candidates. Contribution to people around the world. Hearing a thank you from even one patient is what PEPStream strives for. This word is aim and mission of the establishing PEPStream. The head office and research center for PEPStream is located on the Kawasaki Tonomachi King Skyfront. The place is in front of Haneda Airport, across the Tama River. The connecting bridge between Haneda Airport and King Skyfront will be open in 2022. It takes 30 minutes by car from KSP to King Skyfront in Kawasaki City. KSP and PEPStream are connected by the chance of Kawasaki City. The first difficulty in the process of the innovative drug development is to select appropriate biological targets. It takes in 5 or 8 years to complete target validation by the conventional technologies. PDPS technology make it possible to shorten the time to in 1 or 2 years. Using the PDPS technology, PEPStream has signed collaboration research and development agreement with over 20 big pharmaceutical companies, such as Novartis, Roche, and Merck. Although the market capitalization of PEPStream was 32.2 billion Japanese yen at the time the stock listed on Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2013. Now, it was recorded at 835.2 billion Japanese yen in August 2021. Special know-how is required to produce constrained peptides at large scale. PEPStream set up as a CDMO, contract development and manufacturing organization for peptides APIs from traditional peptides to constrained peptides, including macrocyclic and stapled peptides containing non-natural amino acids. PEPStream globally supply high-quality peptide products for human health and a better future of the pharmaceutical industry. The constrained peptides developed by PEPStream provide big pharmaceutical companies developing new drugs all over the world. Relating to the large-scale manufacturing of the constrained peptides developed as the new drugs, PEPStream receives consignment orders from all over the world. This new structure was created. Kanagawa Science Park was established as the largest science park in Japan. Kanagawa Science Park consists of 3 incubation facilities. In addition to incubation activities, Kstp Inc. manages and operates this facility. Kanagawa Institute of Industrial Science and Technology, KISTEC, and the Kanagawa Prefecture Kawasaki Library, which functions as an intellectual property center, are located inside Kanagawa Science Park. Through the collaboration cycle within Kanagawa Science Park, we are aiming to create new industries by promoting industry, academia, government, joint research, and creating R&D projects. The incubation service by KSP Inc. are widely provided, such as Business Innovation School for Developing Entrepreneurs, collaboration support with research organizations, the management of intellectual properties and patent policies. Relating to the financing support, in addition, we manage our own investment funds with small scale and introduce financial institutions such as banks and venture capitals. In the processes for developing of venture businesses, various support are existed. Educational support for seed stage, various incubation support for setting up a company and starting a business, and growth support for financial funding after starting companies. In many cases, providing various incubation service and funding support by venture capitals. Each works separately as an independent organization. From now on, KSP will form a large-scale fund to enhance its function as a venture capital. We will also create a system that can consistently support from entrepreneurs on seed stage to provide various incubation services and support funding for venture business. I'd like to build a system that can accompany IPO or M&A, which is one of the possible goals for venture company. The future vision of KSP is incubation capital that can support and nurture venture companies all around.
Thank you. I think his presentation implies very important strategy to operate Science Park in the future. In the first part of his presentation, he talked about his career as an entrepreneur. Especially, he presented the peptide dreams, aim, and dream, and how to shorten the innovative drug development and to collaborate with research partners with peptide discovery platform service. As well, he told how PeptiStart Incorporated obtained consignment order from around the world. Finally, he explained how he had applied his private experience to Kanagawa Science Park. I think one of the most important implications from his presentation is Kanagawa Science Park started to play as a venture capitalist, not let alone venture incubator or supporter. This is very important to the management of International Science Park fields. Okay, let's go to our fourth and last speaker, Yuhyun Kim. He's president of the Daegu Digital Industry Promotion Agency and served as a supervisor of support policy towards software and ICT conversion industries for Daegu. In particular, his core task is to create the software industry ecosystem centered around Suseong Alpha City, the heart of Daegu City, a model smart city project. He holds master degree in the field of computer science at Hongik University and used to an assistant professor at Namseol University. His topic is a case study of software convergent cross-construction in the city of Daegu. Please give him with big applause, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Kim Yuhyun. I'm the president of Daegu Digital Industry Promotion Agency. I am very pleased to participate here in this session on cooperation between science and technology parks. Today, I want to talk about how the socio-economic system is going through a huge transformation, and how the city of Daegu is preparing for the era of AI and the fourth industrial revolution, and how we are trying to spearhead innovation for a city. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about our works to try to create a software convergence cluster. This is done with the city, Daegu City government, and the Ministry of Science and ICT. So the central governments and the local governments are providing support, and our agency is currently leading the efforts. Let me tell you a little bit about the context behind this project, the current status, and the vision and strategies. To begin with, I would like to discuss the background as to how the city of Daegu began to establish the software conversions cluster. Recently, we're able to see that with the digital transformation, that software is having a huge impact in industry, culture, economy, and society, used in massive ways in cars, semiconductors, phones, and all of these different markets. We are seeing that the software market outnumbers them all, because software is a technology that creates technology, that it is a very important component for technology. It's a kind of meta technology, if you will, which means that it is very much important to break down the barriers in the fourth industrial revolution. Software is going to change the world with its ability for convergence. However, if we take a look at the Republic of Korea, the metropolitan regions with the capital city of Seoul and Gyeonggi, there's a big gap between the metropolitan region and the other cities around the world. So there's a regional imbalance when it comes to these industries. The software industry in the non-capital city region is only about 1/10 of that of Seoul. And in terms of technology, we only have a gap of about 48% between us and Seoul. I mentioned the importance of software. Software industry can also be an enabler of all of the different industries, and not only that, but the economy and overall society of the world. So therefore, this kind of imbalance is a huge shortcoming, not just for Daegu, Gyeongbuk area, but also for the nation as a whole, which is why we wanted to build the capacity of the regional software competence to try to also create new jobs and create value. And through that, we want to do so through software convergence, come up with mutual growth with the local industries. And to that end, we came upon the idea of a software convergence cluster. In the past, the software was seen as a complementary aspect to hardware, but now it is pervasive in our societies. And recently with AI and new software industries have emerged, and so various countries, especially our country, has put forward the New Deal, and now this is a new watershed moment for software, which is why the central government is trying to lead policies centered on software to try to have software technological innovation, education, culture, and balanced growth of the regions. And to that end, it has amended the Promotion Act for the promotion of the software industry. According to IDIG, in 2020, about 66% of the global industries around the world are engaging in digital innovation through software. Going forward, all industries and all companies are going to be beneficiaries of software or makers of software. So software is going to be something that is a necessary component for all companies to do business. In the case of Daegu, we have invested heavily in the software industry, so we have excellent infrastructure and a great climate for companies to grow in. In 1997, at the time, the Ministry of ICT provided support for the installation of a Daegu Software Support Center, and in 2001, there was Daegu Digital Industry Promotion Agency, and then in 2003, a soft town or software town. And in 2012, there was for the first time, we had a feasibility study for a funded project by the central government for software conversions technology advanced business. And then with that, we were able to secure funds to establish a software conversions technology support center, also to create the greatest software complex south of the river. The Daegu Susang Alpha City has excellent infrastructure for demonstration, with about 69 software companies and 1,200 personnel working in the complex and various support systems in place. It is an innovation cluster, an innovation hub for the city of Daegu. In 2019, as of 2019, if we take a look at the Daegu software industries, there are about 1,800 companies, 15,000 employees, and 5.4 trillion turnover. And we've seen about 5% increase in the number of companies, 8.11% in the number of employees, and 4% in the number of percent in the increase of revenue. So we've seen consistent growth. The software conversions cluster, if we compare it now to about 2014, grew from 11 companies to 69. And their total annual turnover is from 39.6 billion to 276 billion, and the employees from 139 to 1,200. This means that government policy and the local government's focus and resource planning have led to this becoming a model and something that is benchmarked by other local governments around Korea. However, recently, the Daegu software industry has also seen accelerated digital transformation, which led to an outflow of talent and a mismatch between the needs of the industry and what we can offer. For example, with the big tech companies in Korea, or compared against the Mecca, they have been sucking in all of the brains, the talent from Daegu to them around the capital city in the metropolitan region, which is why we wanted to try to create our cluster as a sort of campus for software talent, to attract talent, to create this innovative ecosystem to continue to attract talent and prevent them from leaving and create this brain drain. In the midst of this, Daegu wants this conversions cluster to be the head and the hub of our digital transformation. And to that end, I would like to tell you a little bit about our strategies and visions for next year. We want to contribute to the 5 major governmental goals of local regional government, commercialization, technology, growth support, digital innovation project, and software talent fostering and job creation. Compared to this, we have 3 strategies that are based on these 5 different pillars. First is to try to create a software industrial innovation base. Secondly, to try to create a 5+1 future new industry digital technology advancement. And thirdly is to try to reorganize our system for fostering software talent. The first strategy is to try to reorganize a system for fostering software talents and human resources. And we're going to do this with the help of the industry, academia, and government. About 1,000 or so talents every year. And we're going to try to provide more educational opportunities and beef up our educational offerings to provide more educational support to about an extra 1,000 students or so a year. We also want to aid the computer literacy and software literacy of our residents. So we're going to provide software literacy support, about 10,000 or so a year. Secondly, with the software conversions cluster, we want to provide full cycle support for the conversions cluster. In the Susang Alpha City, we can provide development support, market demonstration, and actual business commercialization. And we are providing customized support for each of these different stages. We're going to reinforce our support so that we can grow our cluster as a base for industrial commercialization going forward. Thirdly, is through industrial conversions that we can have a 5+1 future new industry technological innovation. The city of Daegu will focus on future cars, robots, medical, water, and energy, or smart energy. And we're going to invest 3.6 trillion won to create about 34,000 jobs. These 5+1 new industries will be integrated together with software to create added value, to create a kind of Daegu-style success cluster. In 2026, we hope to have about 60,000 software talent and resources, 300 companies in our cluster, about 4,000 jobs created. And with the added value of the software conversions, we expect to achieve about 10 trillion Korean won. So these are the objectives that we have in mind. We believe that we are going to have more opportunities for exchange and cooperation with the science parks around the world, and we will do so, especially in the area of software. We hope to see more cooperation in that
Mr.
regard.
Kim, for your keeping the time and making nice presentation. He emphasized that the fourth industrial revolution is led by software convergent industry, which in turn is the center of innovation and adding value of all industry and core drivers of world change. He concludes that the ecosystem his organization creates will serve as a core element of the Daegu series response to the demand of the age in the digital transition. What's more impressive, the most impressive in his presentation is to emphasize the role of software talent nurturing system. Thank you for your presentation. We just completed 4 invited speakers, precious and insightful presentations. Thank for all 4 speakers and for their wonderful presentations. As I mentioned earlier, without panel and audience because of COVID-19, we miss no floor discussion. However, any questions from you are welcome even online or via email, and we'll get back to you soon. The time is almost up, so I should wrap up our today's session here. We learned very important lessons from today's 4 speakers. That is, their key messages are cooperation between science parks. Yes, we all know the importance of cooperation, but what's more important is how. In this regard, all 4 speakers must have had important lessons in common in order to promote cooperation between science parks and strengthen regional competitiveness. I think 4 key lessons are as follows. The first one, it is fundamental and basic to make triple helix work by collaborating between universities, science parks, and government organizations. Secondly, to share experience best practices between science parks. Thirdly, to cooperate between science parks globally. Finally, to apply even the private sector's best practices to science parks. I think in order to develop and sustain science park, the role of key or anchor company is very, very important. So when you develop or promote your science park, I advise you to invite or attract or develop the key anchor company in your parks. Kiichi Kubota explains the importance of venture capital role of science. Yes, that is also very important. So you should apply the private sector experience or best practice to your science park management. Thank you for your attention. This is officially conclude our session 2. Thank you very much.